I'm Sam McAlpin with the Alabama Grapevine. I'm here today with Dustin Burt of Valley Head, Alabama, who until Monday, March 13th, was the chief of the Valley Head Fire Department. Dustin, I just want to thank you again for the time.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Thanks for coming. So we'll get right into it. How long have you been a firefighter, and how did you get into that line of work?
I've done this 19 years now, and when we was growing up in high school, we had some friends who their parents were on the fire department, and we ended up just kind of tagging along with them on some calls, and it just kind of sparked the interest in me, and from there, and it's just built from there.
That's awesome, man. How did you come to earn your position as the chief of the Valley Head Fire Department, and what did it mean to you?
It meant a good deal to me. A lot of training and just putting in my time and my years to climb the chain, and once I finally got there, that was the ultimate prize to me.
Yes, sir. This is a voluntary position, albeit a very dangerous one. Why would someone volunteer to do this free of charge?
Well, if you don't, there's nobody in these smaller communities that's there for you. You know, you have 2 paid departments in this county with Rainsville and Fort Payne, and the other 24 departments are volunteer. So the way I look at it is, if I'm laying in a ditch somewhere, I want somebody to come help me out. I don't care if they're paid or volunteer, as long as somebody shows up. Amen,
my friend. How did you end up losing your position as the chief, and how did that make you feel?
Ended up at the last council meeting, March 13th, the mayor had addressed and said that there was trash in the trucks. He proceeded to get the council up to walk them to the fire hall to look. They come back, and he was sitting there saying, well, he's going to suspend me for this. And I was kind of bewildered, because I thought, yeah, there might be a little something in the truck trash, but I didn't think there was that much of it. Turns out there wasn't, but that's that's just the person he is, as bad as I hate to say it that way.
I understand. There's a lot of people like that. It does seem like most of the people in your community have stood behind you during all this. What's that been like for you and your family?
It's been great, actually, to see the community, and not just the community of Valley Head. I've had people call me from Crossville, Collinsville, Sylvania, reaching out and just wanting to know what's going on, what they needed to do to help, and tell me they're there for me, and understood what I was going through to a point.
Well, you know where you stand with the people, and you can't beat that, my friend. Do you think this was a political move by the mayor, or something else entirely?
I do believe this is all politically driven, because we did campaign for his opponent back in the previous election, and I feel like this stems from that, and this is just his way to get back at us.
That's awful. That sounds like an abuse of power if I've ever heard it. Mike Key allegedly stated that in 2020 and again in 2021 that he presented a checklist of things for the fire department that needed to be done. It is also alleged that he claims almost nothing on that list was completed. Could you give us your thoughts on that?
The thoughts on that is that every time he gives us a checklist, it changes. It gets from a little bitty checklist like this to a checklist like this. And we're volunteer. We don't get paid a dime to do this. At 2 in the morning, when I'm backing that truck in, I'm looking at my watch thinking, I've got 3 hours sleep before I've got to go to my job that pays me to put food on the table for my family. I am not worried about that empty water bottle sitting here beside me. It can wait till the next time that I'm in here.
I understand. I can see that. The story being passed to the grapevine at this time is that during a recent walkthrough, drink bottles and candy wrappers were found in the cab of the truck, and that was the reason for your suspension. Could you give us your thoughts on that?
Yes, there was 2 drink bottles and a few that was unopened in the truck, and there was some candy from a parade that had fell in the door in the little pocket there, and it's been overlooked when the truck had been cleaned previously, and like I said, I'd rather throw that empty drink bottle in my truck than leave it on the scene of that call and make it look trashy.
Yes, sir. With you being suspended and no one ready to step in for you, the entire Valley Head Fire Department was disbanded. What happens at this time in the event of a fire-related emergency?
Luckily, we have some very good departments around us with Mentone, Hammondville, and Henniger, and I've talked to representatives from all of them, and they have stepped up and are actually covering our area if we do get a call. And actually, an hour after the meeting, there was a call in Valley Head, and Mentone had to come down and respond to it, in which I'm also a member out there, so I got to go to it then anyway.
So you was working anyway.
I was working.
And Mentone's small enough. Why should they be having to reach out and do more? It's nice of them to do it, though.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is, Our department, Hammondville, Mentone, we've always all worked together. Us chiefs with Joseph Lee at Mentone and Craig Hall at Hammondville, we've always worked great together. We've always got along, and we just have that relationship. We know we've got each other's back no matter what happens.
That's the good stuff. The town does Mayberry Days almost exclusively to raise money for the Valley Head Fire Department. It has been alleged recently that Mike Key is refusing to release those funds. What are your thoughts on that?
I just know when I come and ask for basic equipment I need to help protect the community, such as hose, I'm met with resistance on anything I ask for. It's a constant fight every month with something new that comes up with him.
So hard to get the funding.
The funding's there. It's hard to get the funding turned loose to buy the equipment.
I understand. I know there's a Valley Head Town meeting March the 20th at 6 p.m. inside its town hall. People are expected to show up in force. Will you be there, and what do you hope will be accomplished at that meeting?
Yes, I will be there front row, and I hope that the stuff that has been going on for the past years comes to the light. The people can see how we are being truly treated and understand, like I said, we don't get paid a dime for this. We're doing this out of the kindness of our heart to help our community and how we get treated in return.
Yes, sir. Are there any parting words that you may have for the citizens of Valley Head, Alabama before that meeting?
Show up, voice your opinion, whether it's good or bad towards us. Like me and my fellow firefighters have talked, if you've got a problem with us, come to us. Tell us you have a problem. We'll address it at that time. But don't be one of these who talks about it behind their back and don't show up. Show up, make your voice heard.
That's awesome, man. Dustin, thank you again for your time. I really do appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Boom. For our viewers at home, I'm Sam McAlpin. Thank you again for tuning in, and don't forget, you heard it through the grapevine. Y'all have a good evening.